Are live with the Mortgage Geek, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Sean Cahan is here. And Sonia, Azizi with Compass.
Bam.
Also here. Boom. There she is.
Bam.
Boom.
Okay. So guys, smoking hot topic right now. A lot of buyers seeing sort of, a change in the market. And they're going, oh, I know what happens next. Thing crashes. I'm going to wait. So a big question right now, a lot of buyers are thinking this. Should I wait till next year to buy? Should I let this cycle go? Because normally people make this decision, especially if you have kids, you look to the summer and you go, okay, let's gear up to move in the summer so we can get in our school district or whatever, or we have extra time to do all this stuff. And so people are thinking that right now, going, well, should we do it this summer or should we wait until next summer? Mortgage Geek.
No, don't wait. I mean, look at the asset, like look at your home, look at the one that you're placing an offer on with today's rates, look at the payment and say, do I think that I could live in this home and this amount that I have to pay every single month for the next 30 years coincides with the value that I get from the home? If you, I literally had this conversation yesterday with one of my clients. If you take that approach, you will never lose, because you cannot time the market correctly. Everyone that says, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to wait to time the market correctly," I will bet a lot of time and money that it's impossible. And if you think that you know what's going on in the mortgage, with the rates and everything that's like that, please give me a call. I'd love to have you come and start working for the bank, because anyone that ever asked me, "Hey, what do you think the interest rates are going to do?" I don't sell bonds.
And even if you did, those guys, a lot of them lose money.
On a
trying
day,
to
they
trade.
lose, they make. They lose, they make. So it's like, why are we, it's so funny, like our culture now through media and marketing and all this kind of stuff, we're now thinking that because we have so much technology, right, that we know what's the market's going to happen, and we have all the statistical data and we have all the insight. No, we don't. Like, I look at mortgage MBS Highway and I'm like, whoa, like, lock desk. Should I lock a loan today? And they're like, sure, if it's the right, if that's what you quoted, like, we have no idea tomorrow.
Yeah.
And our trading desk is looking at $1 billion to $1.5 billion a month in what's going on in the market. And they're even like, we're taking an educated guess. So don't be on the fence. If you think that in the future is going to better situate, be in a better position, why? Don't think of it because the housing market's going to go down or the interest rates are going to go down. Hey, I might be waiting until next year because I have some things coming up. I'm getting a bonus in January that I'm going to be able to have more money. I'm getting a raise, and I don't like the value of $600,000. I want to try to get to $700,000. That's something to wait for. But to wait based upon, oh, I think the market's going to go down? I mean, give me a break. That's impossible. Do you think I am opinionated or what?
No, not at all.
I love
Sean?
it. Sonia, what do you think?
I'm with Sean on this one. I mean, it's not because I'm in the business, but like, what's the worst that can happen? What are you waiting for, right? I mean, for example, like, is the prices going to go down, or it's going to go up and down no matter what? Honestly, like 2 years ago, we were sitting at a seminar, and I think it was like Tom Ferry, and then I went to another one. It was like some big economist, and they were all saying the same thing. 2019, the whole market's going to crash, that this is going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, so to me, it's just like, okay, nothing's happening. There's more developments going up. There's more buildings going up. Rent, there's no rent control. So I think the worst thing that can happen is you rent out your house. You rent out your house because back then it was just like it's cheaper to rent. Right now it's not cheaper to rent.
No,
It's expensive to rent. So whatever your mortgage is, as long as you can afford it, there's no questions to be asked. Like, if you can afford to buy a property, buy an investment, that there's not a big loss, buy it. If you can make the payments monthly, especially with rates actually being low, like let's talk about like what's going on, the present. And the present right now is that interest rates are low. And if it is a buyer's market, which is awesome, so I mean, you can negotiate 5%.
Take the advantage. Like,
take advantage of it.
The sellers are scared, and the interest rates have come a little bit down. Strike.
right?
That's what I see.
Strike.
Yeah.
I see opportunity that hasn't existed in years in this market, where buyers can actually come in and go, I'll give you $560 for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
You know what I
looking at
mean?
a house tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. No,
You know,
I
list
am.
price, and I already told my agent, I was like, hey, just want to let you know, here's where my offer is going to be. And she's like,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
Can I tell you what happened this weekend with one of
Please.
our clients?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my clients, she went into some new home in Fallbrook. And she said, we love this house. It's awesome. We told them which one we wanted. I'm like, oh, shit, there goes our commission. But since these guys are a little bit more desperate, they're like, no, we'll talk to you. We don't care that they came in before you. So that's kind of nice too. In fact, we're offering 3%. Do they still want this house for $569 or $669,000? We're like, no, we're gonna have to negotiate. We don't want that. Cut the check. We're not registering anything. So they got so desperate and called us. They lowered it by $50,000. Then we said,
Jeez.
we still don't want it. They lowered it another $100,000. No joke.
What?
$100,000. So that
They're
same
scared
house.
of the unknown.
They're scared of the unknown. So you take advantage of
my
what's going
goodness.
on right now, because since these guys are scared. I went to Del Sur yesterday. They built all this, 55 and up, that they have the sky, and everything's super expensive.
Right.
Some of the clients that signed up for it, they're calling me now. He's like, hey, Sonia, we're canceling this out. Why don't you go and put my wife's name or something? Because I think that they're giving better bonuses now. So I said, okay. So I went in, and they're not only, he's like, hey, we'll give you 4% commission, and we're going to knock it down another $40,000. And we're going to give you all the upgrades, so you don't need upgrades.
Wow.
And this is
Yeah.
two different
construction.
new construction. Both
Amazing.
are new construction. So if you guys
Holy
worried about new
smokes.
construction, take your buyers out there. You can negotiate them, because before you go to new construction, it's like, no, that's our price. This is it. We're solid. This is just about less than a year ago. Now they're giving, because they were taking our commission, so we didn't give a shit. We would not go to new construction because they're giving a $10,000 flat fee on $1 million house, which is bullshit. Now they're offering 3 to 4%.
So,
And lowering the price.
They were doing the same thing on the lending as well. Like,
yeah.
it was impossible. Like, they'll be like, oh, okay, thanks for your pre-approval. It's a requirement to go through Cal Atlantic, and then bye buyer,
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to me, because there's such little new construction that product is actually superior in most cases dramatically to the resale product, and has been getting a premium for that. So if that's changing, so then the question would be, okay, will it still be better next year, right? That's what we're trying to text. So a year from now, will they be offering even more incentives? Will there be more opportunities? And what I would suggest that everyone do is take a look at the cost of waiting. And the cost of waiting, you can actually calculate this. So you can look at, okay, well, how much rent am I going to spend in the next 12 months? You're paying, let's say $4,000 a month in rent. There's 48 G's. Okay, so you're starting with that. Also, what is my my opportunity cost in not being able to deduct interest on the mortgage that I would have had during this same period? So you got to factor all those things in. Then you'll be able to see what your cost of waiting actually is, and it's going to be pretty significant.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're going to need interest rates to go down and prices to go down, which typically are inversely correlated. You're going to need them both to go down, or you're going to need one of them to go down significantly. My suggestion would be, if you think prices are going to go down, or if you think interest rates are going to go down in the next year, go ahead and buy today and then go short the bonds, or go short the REITs, right? Like, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can buy today and then hedge by simply shorting some stuff. Now, most people aren't savvy enough to short the market, but that's what you're talking about. When you're saying, I'm going to wait until next year, you're saying, I'm savvy enough to know what's going to happen in the market. So you should be looking at shorting securities, taking what you have right here, because this is a nice bird in the hand that we've got. We've got a good situation here for buyers. If you think it's going to get better, okay, I won't argue with you. Maybe you're right. But what's your cost of waiting? Okay, you can eliminate that by buying today, and then you can still have your cake or eat it too by going and shorting the market. If you think interest rates are going to go down, if you think real estate's going to go down, you can short it.
There's no way that the market's going to go down, the interest rates are going to go down.
I know,
It's
it's
not
like
gonna happen.
impossible.
I mean,
not
let's
gonna
just say, the market doesn't go down, interest rates go down. Who gives a shit? Refinance. Call the mortgage geek.
Exactly. So that's,
You can refinance.
I
It's
love
the
that.
stupidest thing.
That is true. Like, so I met with Litton Financial last week. I mean, these guys are, I don't know, I think the top 15, number 15 office out of 15,000 for LPL. And it was like, they showed me a chart. They were like, hey, check this out. So here's where most people make a mistake. They wait, they wait, they wait. They never time the market correctly. Why don't you just buy? And now, if the interest rates do go down, refinance. But if the interest rates stay the same, then who cares? Like,
Yeah, you're fine.
inflation comes, the cost of the money goes up, but you're locked in. You're fine. You're okay. You know, and stop re-amortizing on your on your
paid off.
refinance as well. So like at Cornerstone, we actually have one of our investors that will match the amortization schedule of their current loan, so that they're not re-amortizing. Because people will get, oh my gosh, I'm saving 0.5% on the rate. Okay, great. You know what? You're re-amortizing. You're at 22 years. Now you're going back to 30. That 8 years of interest that you just paid is a lot more than the actual 0.5% you're saving. So
True.
just look at it. Be a little bit more savvy, right, with the data that we have. Don't like take it and say, oh, I'm going to wait. Take that data and use that to your advantage and say, I'm going to buy today, and if my situation can improve in the future, it can. We all have to live somewhere, so it's not like you're going from like a cardboard box to a home, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We're going from paying someone else's mortgage to paying your own mortgage.
That's right. And getting yourself closer to
Now, if you do live in a cardboard box, nothing against it.
But if you qualify to buy a house and you live in a cardboard box, then you really are a unicorn.
You can rent one out.
You
I don't
are
want to be
actual
controversy.
unicorn.
I mean, even for investors right now is a great time because of the rent. So a lot of my clients are investors, so they're buying their first home, and then they're asking me if they, if I can find them something in what 580, 570 price point.
To hold.
For rent. So they're buying multiple
Interesting.
properties for rent. So they're not scared at all. So if the investors are not scared, if the guys that are making a ton of money, they're not scared, why are you afraid? They're just like, okay, look, a lot of people are not buying because here's the other thing, the affordability. So they can't save up enough or whatever it is. So a lot of my investors are taking advantage of that and, going and having me buy them properties to rent out because rent keeps going up.
You make a
Yeah.
good point. There's a lot of people who have been, I can't believe some of the people I've talked to recently who have applied to be on one of our shows, and they have been renting for like 20 years. Been renting for 11 years. Been renting for 17 years. We're finally ready to buy a house. Like, that's the thing you have to be careful about, because we kind of get into habits. So if you're in the habit of just renting, then you could wake up 12 years later and go, wait a minute, what happened? And if you do a quick, get out your calculator and see how much rent you've been paying for the last 11, 17, 21 years, this couple that I just talked to last week, 21 years they've been renting. 21 years.
Because they're scared.
Well, they didn't think they qualified. They didn't know where to begin. They just had that mentality that this is what they had to do because they didn't have a down payment. They have a bunch of kids. How do we make this work? So I think that's where you have to educate yourself, and you have to notice the habit that you're in with regard to it. And if this is just a continuation of that habit, I mean, if you've been renting for 17 years and you go, well, we'll look at it again next year, you're just continuing the same habit.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the cycle.
That's you're just cycling the same habit, the same bad habit. So like, take a look at your situation. Maybe you sold, a house in the last year or two, and you're kind of waiting around for the market to change or something like that. Maybe you're super savvy. Okay, that's a rare situation. Most of the time, it's a habit, and it's a bad habit that's continuing. And if you can sort of just have an interruption in that and go, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, just paying attention to the market. I mean, you've seen this, Sonia. I mean, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, what was going on in the market? It was bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, compared to buyers.
It's the top.
Yeah.
It's the top.
It's
It's
the
the
top.
top. All I've
Market's
ever heard
crashing.
the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's the top. I offloaded a bunch of real estate.
Yeah, but I mean, keep in
shouldn't
mind,
have,
I don't know.
but I did.
San Diego's kind of luxury place to live now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna go and crash or do any of that stuff. And I mean, people want to be here, and there's a lot of people that can't really afford it. I mean, I think we had that topic. It's just like, what do I do if I sell? What do I do? And so I have a handful of clients that are selling and moving out of California too, which is fine. So you do have options. I mean, they're going to Dallas, they're going to Portland. So it's just for tax breaks. They're going to Florida. So people are moving. I think they were thinking with the idea of selling their house, where do I move in San Diego? But there's other options for you too. If you don't, I mean, if you're retiring or whatever it is, there's other options where you don't have to pay state tax and, and move to other places.
It's one of the troubles with the economy in San Diego is that there are a lot of people who would love to just live here,
Yeah.
So employers don't have to offer as much in pay
Yeah.
as you do in
I
other
mean, you're
places.
in San Diego.
Yeah.
You're in San Diego, so it's not like, you know, like I see people getting recruited to Washington all the time. I see people getting recruited to Utah and all these random places.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, well, I just got an offer I couldn't refuse. Like, yeah, because it looks good on paper when you're looking at that offer in the San Diego sun.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get there and you get your first paycheck and you're like, it's like 2 weeks in, you're like, shit.
I literally had this conversation on Saturday.
Really?
One of my good friends up in LA, we were up there having dinner, and he goes, man, I cannot believe it. I was like, how's your sister doing? He goes, I can't believe it. They moved to Scottsdale. They're from, and I was like, Scottsdale, what happened? They're like, yeah, I know. He wanted like a pay raise and said that they have to move for a pay raise, which is all fine and dandy, but they have to move to Scottsdale. They grew up biking and surfing their whole entire life. And he's like, yeah, they sent us all the dates of us to come over, and we just looked at all the dates and decided, nah, we're okay coming over. Why don't you guys just come this direction? So he's like, you're stuck inside your house for 3 months in the dead heat. So to that point, it's like, man, San Diego is like amazing place to live.
But not everybody can afford it.
Not everyone can afford
But not
it.
everyone can afford it.
Not everyone can
Or
afford it.
you think like the money side. So it's just very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Well, it creates a variable that doesn't really exist in a lot of situations, but it's also, it's good.
But nothing against Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Scottsdale,
against
Arizona's
Scottsdale.
great. Scottsdale's great. America's great.
You know, you have solar
Nothing against
panels.
Scottsdale. You just use it as an example. I don't have an opinion about it.
We actually meant some random city in Arizona. So like, but it creates an interesting variable, right? Because it's good though, ultimately, because now you can recruit, like the Idea District in downtown, they can recruit top talent from up in the San Francisco Bay Area, from all the technology companies. They can recruit them down here. They don't have to pay them as much because the housing is way cheaper here than it is there.
That's true.
Because the economy
Yeah.
isn't as good here as it is there. If the economy here got really, really, really strong, we would be looking at housing prices like that for sure.
Oh, like a Seattle or something like that?
Totally.
Down in San Diego? Oh, my
Think about that.
Lord.
I mean, the weather here is way better than San Francisco. I mean, it's
Yeah.
3 times better.
Yeah, that's true.
3 times. But yet it's half as expensive or,
Yeah.
or less. What sense does that make? It's just the economy. So this economy will catch up. I think the outlook for San Diego real estate prices long term is much higher.
I mean, I
much,
believe
much
you.
higher.
I
20 years
mean,
from now, we'll
yeah.
be double where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be looking at it back and going, obviously that was what was going to happen. You know?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful city. All we need is just more and more larger, employers to come into San Diego.
Isn't Google coming to San Diego too?
A whole bunch of them are.
Google,
Yeah.
Amazon.
Look at all the money that's being invested.
Yeah.
Even down in West Chula Vista, they're investing $1 billion
Yeah.
in the hotels and Whole Foods and all that stuff. Vista.
Is that on the waterfront there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was done by Pacifica or something like that.
I can't
right?
remember who did that.
One of
but
those huge
It was a big
developers.
deal.
Yeah,
It's like,
that is $1 billion.
yeah, it's like 1.2 billion.
Everything's
it's
changing.
crazy.
Seaport Village. I
Sport
mean,
Village, billions.
yeah.
I mean, and then you have there's going to be a Sinopolis in Vista, guys. Like it's happening.
Yeah.
It's true.
cool.
I mean, look at downtown. I drive by Bankers Hill, and every month it's just like a new building going up. They're taking down all the old buildings and kind of kicking everybody out and buying everything and building. So they're building San Diego. They're
mentioned a good
doing a
market.
nice skyline, in downtown. So I think we went to 41 West. It was like a 3-bedroom condo for $4 million.
Yeah.
Wait, 41
Insane.
West, is that the new one on Fifth
Yeah.
Avenue right there?
Yeah.
Where Willis Allen went into the basement or into the...
I'm not sure.
It's
in the basement, but
it's
Not
in
the
Bankers
basement, or the-
Bankers Hill. You got a view. Yeah, it's a nice building, but I mean, come on, it's not like one of those big, tall, like Pacific Gates or anything.
yeah, it's an
But
interesting one. 41 West.
$4.5 million.
That's an
That's
interesting one.
insane.
for
right?
That, penthouse suite there?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
3,000, 4,000 square feet?
It's dope, and the views are sick.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But like, if you're right, if you're spending $4 million, you got a lot of options.
You have a lot of options. I don't even know if they have a pool.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so $4 million, you have a lot of options. But you mentioned a good market. Bankers Hill is actually very interesting. I think that is one of those places that has kind of been a cast aside. Oh, that's the cheap place in downtown. But look
Yeah.
at it now. Better views than you do
Better
in
views.
downtown proper.
Yep.
You do not have the vagrant situation that you do in downtown proper. You
Yeah.
have cheaper prices. You have easier access to Little Italy, easier access to freeways. Like Bankers Hill,
You
there's
just have to deal with those
value.
airplanes.
I mean, I don't think people
think it's
care.
cool.
I mean, I think
Yeah, that's
people
what,
that
just
live
what people complain about.
in Bakersfield.
Really? No, people like it. They
I
think
like
it's
it.
kind of cool to have the airplanes going by every 10 minutes. I mean, I know my kids will like it.
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Liberty Station.
You're just bougie.
That's worse though.
I moved down. I was like, hey, hold on real quick. Got an airplane.
No,
Yeah.
we call that pause Loma.
That's true.
Because like Point Loma, because that's where they're taking off, right?
Yeah.
So it's like so much worse. Like it's
Loud.
full
Thrusters,
thrusters,
yeah.
just.
Yeah.
But when they're landing, you know, they're down to like 120 miles an hour, full flaps and everything. It's quieter.
It's just
not as
like
bad.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's cool.
Green. It's just
Point Loma,
Point Loma.
the price point, insane. They don't give a shit about the planes.
I still don't get.
It's
I still don't get the
insane.
Point Loma. Thing.
Have you ever driven on Rosecrans?
Yes, it looks like
Oh
car.
my lord.
I didn't say that out loud. We're not supposed to say bad things.
No, I'm saying to get. I like Point Loma. Like, if I could live in Point Loma but not have to deal with Rosecrans, I would for sure live in Point Loma. It's just that how they have all the lights and how many cars and all that kind of stuff on Rosecrans.
Yeah.
So Point Loma is like very difficult in my eyes only to get in and out of.
I've been lost in Point Loma a few times,
Yeah.
but it's like it's
Oh, those
beautiful
little streets.
neighborhoods.
It is
yeah.
beautiful.
But
Yeah.
the streets aren't like,
Yeah.
you know, they're curvy, so it's like I'm going east and I'm going north. And it's like I can't figure it out because just the way my mind works. But people love it.
People love it.
So
Yeah, they do.
there's no way to argue with that. Like if something pops up in Point Loma, especially
Gone.
especially in
time.
certain areas, of Point Loma, there's
Yeah.
there's so many people looking right now for that one house to pop up. I know multiple of them who are looking for the same house. So like
It's quiet. You get some property.
So that
People
brings
like it,
me
yeah.
to the next point, selling your house. There's still plenty of buyers.
good point.
I mean,
there's lots.
you mentioned Point Loma or Bankers Hill. I mean, there's still plenty of buyers out there.
No, sellers are thinking the same question.
Yeah.
You know, I know on the win this listing side, sellers going, you know, we're going to wait till next year. We're going to sell next year.
Why? What is it?
People think, well, the market is softer now, like it's going to recover and they'll be back and be hot again next year. There's sellers who think that. And it, you know, again, it's a roll of the dice, but
Okay, well, let's talk about the sellers that thought that last year and didn't sell, and they waited, and look what's happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like, what is it, about 10%? It's already gone down.
Some,
You know?
in
So
some of those price
some
points,
price
yeah.
points. And so do you want to take that risk? If you're going to sell in the next year or two, just sell now. You know it's going to sell. You know there's still buyers out there. Why take that risk? Because, I mean, same thing again. All the buyers that said that they were going to wait this year because it's going to somehow get better, it didn't get better. So,
Like
you
we
know.
met with those clients of when you came into my office, you know, and I talked to them before Sonia came in, and I was doing the financing on the upleg part, and I was like, hey, let's talk about why don't you guys just sell your place and move into an Airbnb while you guys go and try to find another place.
Right.
And they were like, hey, you know, that's actually a really great idea, because I was like, being contingent is really difficult.
It
Believe me,
is.
there will be a home in the near future. So you're not missing the market if you sell and then 2 months later that you buy. Now, if you sell and waited another year, 6 months, the market can change. But I still consider to be selling and buying in the same market is, you know, within a couple month time period.
it's a wash.
You know?
Yeah, it's really a
And
wash.
You can't really go that bad. And so I think that that is also something that sellers are afraid of. And it's like, there are so many options. 10 years ago, we didn't have Airbnbs. We didn't
That's
have
true.
fully furnished places that were super easy to get into.
Right.
Put your stuff in a storage unit. So I think sellers need to kind of open up a little bit and be like, wow, it's probably more difficult to get a contingent offer accepted. Why don't I just sell my place, put this stuff into like, you know, one of those moving companies that will store it
My
for
box.
you. And
Shout out to My Box.
There you go.
Yeah,
and
good
go
guys.
live in
and
one of those.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's with the selling thing. The thing that's tough is like, well, hold on. What's actually best for your family? Let's start there. When would be the best time for you to sell the house, for the sake of your family, schools, timing, etc. And let's start there, and then tell me why that's not a good time first. You know, like because that really should be what you do. You should be creating a micro market when you sell your home. I mean, who cares what's going on in the overall
Right.
market?
Yeah,
You should be
correct.
creating a micro market around your home where you have it priced in a way and the strategy behind the way it's presented and photographed and everything is all done in a way to make it the best product at the best price on the market, and you let the market have a frenzy on your home.
Yeah.
That's
that's
it.
awesome. Can I piggyback on that really
Sure.
quick? Okay, so now that if you do want to sell your home nowadays, you can't just pick any random agent. And I'm not saying that for my sake, but what's happening is the market was selling themselves. Like in 2016, it was a hot market.
Yeah.
You know, we don't care, just whatever, just put a Redfin, oh, we're not supposed to talk about them, but just put a for sale sign in front of your yard and it's gonna sell itself. But it's not like that anymore. The agents actually have to work. So we have to do our marketing. We have to do the staging. We have to just go out of our way to do our jobs in order to sell your home. So if you're hiring your cousin or some of these discount, you know, whatever, Purple Bricks, whatever they are. Oh, we're not supposed to say their name. I keep doing it. Bad habit. But don't
I like
hire.
them all.
Don't worry, it's live.
You know.
We can't
Hire
fix it
a professional.
later.
Oh, it is live? Oh. Yeah. So,
No,
well,
I understand what you're saying.
Right.
The house is not going to sell itself anymore.
no.
That just isn't going to work.
And please go get professional photos.
Have to do that.
Don't
Oh
take
my
them from your
God.
iPhone.
And if you see your agent doing that, fire them immediately. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say that right now.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
not.
so sorry.
It's
if you're an
true.
agent
A
who does
lot
that,
of people
but
do it.
That is a disservice.
People are also doing it in Rancho Santa Fe, believe it or not, even at
Spend
the higher end
$150
stuff.
or $300. Who cares?
Yeah.
Spend the $500.
They're just because it's just easy. They're spending less money, and they think
In
it's going
Rancho
to sell.
Santa Fe,
In Rancho Santa Fe.
multi-million-dollar homes
Uh-huh.
with
I know
I've
a
seen
listing
it.
that's going
I've
on.
seen it.
And they took photos, and it's in La Jolla from
And
their
it-
phone, and that's why I'm saying it. But no one will actually tie it
my
to anything. It was
goodness.
interesting.
Yeah, because they're the area experts. I mean, why? Just because they sold one house in that area, or La Jolla, or Rancho Santa Fe, or what makes you an area expert? You know,
well, I mean, the proof is going to be in the
you
pudding.
got to know how to sell.
Proof is going to be in the pudding. If you
Yeah.
do not present a listing well in this market, I promise you, you'll have crickets.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people experiencing crickets right now. And that's, unfortunately, can create the first wave of concern in a marketplace is when sellers go, yeah, I have my house in the market. I have a buddy of mine had his house in the market now for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing house. He remodeled the entire thing. Over a year, no offers.
And they keep dropping the price, and they think that's the problem. If you just price it right from the get-go with an expert that actually knows the market, it's
100%
okay.
agree.
You know, it's okay if they charge more. It's okay if it's not what you want to hear. If you want to be a yes person, then your house is going to sit on the market for a year. I've walked away from listings because I think it's too expensive. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm going to do your staging. I'm going to do the My Box thing. I'm going to do higher movers. But I'm not going to take a listing if you want too much because the last guy overpromised you. It's just going to sit in the market. The most important thing is the first 2 weeks of your home being listed. So it's got to be priced right
You
and
need an
marketed
offer in
right.
that first
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Yeah, first
if you
couple
did it
weeks.
right, you should get an offer, at least
Yeah.
an offer in the first couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you don't, now it starts to get dicey.
And again, like we were talking at the very beginning of this conversation, right? We have so much technology at our fingertips,
Yeah.
right? So you guys, a home that's priced out too much and just keeps going down in price, we have historical data as a consumer, so we just go, oh, they're probably even going to go even lower. Or why don't I just even throw even a
Low ball.
lower ball
Yeah,
offer? Like,
absolutely.
looks like that train's going down that way. Like,
Yeah, they see it.
hey.
It's true.
So
I tell my
it
buyers
doesn't
that.
do
Right?
any good.
I tell my
Right?
buyers, I'm like, hey, we're going to look at listings that's been sitting on the market for more than 30, 60 days. They're like, why? I'm like, just don't even look at the new ones because I have better negotiating power. And it's not because it's priced wrong. It's just because they're getting desperate and I can negotiate better for you. So to all the agents that are incorrectly pricing, I'm like, I love my buyers to come in and take advantage of you. Sorry. It's true.
What a perfect way to end the segment.
Savage.
Exactly. Hashtag. Holy smokes. Well, this is an awesome conversation, and will be ongoing. Huge shout out and thanks to the Mortgage Geek, Sean Cahan,
Hey,
and
thanks for having
Sonia
me on.
Azizi with Compass. Thank you guys so much for coming in today and having this conversation with us
Thank
and
you.
imparting your knowledge. We've just made you smarter than everyone else. So share this video. Make your friends smarter than everyone else too.